This should be played at high volume, preferably in a residential area.
It's the Dirty Laundry Game-Worn Hockey Podcast.
We're old school, right? We wash our own dirty laundry.
The name on the front is a hell of a lot more important than the one on the back.
I refuse to be judged by a grown man wearing a hockey jersey.
Game on! Game on!
We are back with another episode of the Dirty Laundry Game-Worn Hockey Podcast, episode number 58. Paul Rank, Wade Hampton with us this evening. Justin was supposed to join us. Of course, he had school this evening, so we'll catch back up soon. As somebody else that works in that kind of stuff, I understand that right now it is batshit crazy. So we'll give him a pass. He will be back soon. He was very sad to back away, but we will see him back soon. Gentlemen, how are we this evening?
Doing well.
Good. All is good here.
It's nice and beautiful here in the Midwest of Illinois, and Paul is melting. So 147 degrees today.
I did actually hear we are officially in a drought though here. I did see that today.
Yeah, imagine that. And then a month from now we'll be bitching that it's been raining too much. I mean, yeah. Paul, here soon you're going to be going to games, sweating your ass off with a hockey jersey on, because that's how dedicated we all are. I love going to those early season games where you're in shorts and a jersey and you're just dying.
You don't put the jersey on until you get inside the air conditioning.
Yeah. You got to show it off walking in the arena, though.
There's no one to show it off in San Jose.
That's a good point.
Yeah,
I carry it in because I like to show off this body. You know, I'm not gonna lie.
I hide everything I can. Thank you very much.
There we go.
A lot of different just oddball and things to kind of touch on. Of course, we want to thank, as always, Mitch with Drink Your Face Off, the pucks, the shirts, all that stuff available. Eventually, I want to see giant decals and other stuff. I know he's working on some other things, so definitely check that out. The drink or the bourbon mixed in this evening for the weekly old fashioned is Larceny bourbon. That's been a favorite of mine for a while. I picked up that early on. I probably had it, got 5 or 6 years now. First tried it and really like it. Not very expensive, 35, 45 right in there, but a really good bourbon, mixes well or straight. So I do recommend it. Cheers to everybody out there. I know Wade, as usual, having his Dr. Pepper, keeping them in business. I had one of those yesterday because Dr. Pepper is one of those drinks when I need a pickup, that sugar level and stuff in that compared to others just gives you a kick in the butt. Paul, you got anything special or
just water again?
Hey, no reason not to drink that, especially out there. Wade's in a drought, but you have plenty of water. So
yeah. Staying hydrated in the heat wave. So.
Yes. Wade, we're what, a month and a half from your expo? If you want to give remind people.
Guys, going to be here fast. Excited to see everybody. Should be a fun time. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to, beyond that, I'm always looking forward to all the other expos. I love seeing all the pictures. I'll definitely be going to the Nova whenever that gets announced again. And I'm going to try to make a couple other ones on the East Coast this coming year. So I guess I'll just say support the hobby.
Yes, that's the number one thing. Well, one of the number one things, there's a couple of them tied in there, is it's about the friendships. It's not always about the jerseys. And yeah, get out there and get to the expos, because doing stuff in person and meeting, putting names, faces to names and stuff really does make a difference.
Absolutely.
Oh, you went to an event really close to you, really close to you. What, just up the road?
Basically, yeah, a few miles, 5-10 miles away only. We had, the Barracuda had an equipment sale. And first off, we have the Sharks and Barracuda big equipment sale every year, after the season's over, which seems to get earlier and earlier every year. And then the Sharks do a sidewalk sale, which we reported on the earlier show, which was great. Some new stuff came out. Now, this one was the Barracuda sidewalk sale over at Tech CU. Actually at the Pro Shop there, which is outside of Tech CU, but over by the Sharks practice rink by San Jose State Stadium. And they advertised it for a couple weeks, and they have the photos of the teal gloves, the teal helmets, people going through racks of game worn jerseys and stuff. And so we get there early to wait in line, get to see everyone, which is great, and that's the fun part of the day. I love the shark sale. I always do. I love the sidewalk sale. This was a massive disappointment. First off, in terms of gear, there was no pro stock at all. Everything was just regular retail gear, which I believe was discounted like 30% or something, and stuff which is normally in the store there. They had 3 racks of apparel and authentic Barracuda jerseys. Not authentic, either replicas or no names or numbers or anything.
Just
and those
fanwear.
Fanwear, yes, 3 racks of fanwear, and then there was a 4th rack, which I don't even know why they hosted the sale, because 2-3 days before the sale, they received the training camp jerseys from 2017 to this past spring. So they're worn for 7 years or whatever that is, and Velcro name bars, Adidas on the front, numbers are sewn on, which is nice, but they just started pricing them either the night before or that day. So they before the sale, they put a bunch of them on the 1 rack, which they have available for that stuff. Remember, 3 racks of other fanwear, and they let us in, and all of us start grabbing stuff and start trading amongst us. And there's some cool stuff in there. It's some of them have name bars of Velcro, some don't. So with help from from Logan and Mitch, I got my Biaka Batukas. So and
we're
Mitch
always
Logan
glad to see you get those.
Yes, I'm very happy about it. I know Danielle never wants to hear me say that name again.
We'll record when we record this. I'll pull that out and put it on loop. You can send it to her.
Yeah, we'll do the Danielle version for that one. So and I get some I get the Strauss Man ones. Yeah, sorry Justin, I wish you were here tonight. And none of those had name bars, so they were cheaper. And Logan and Mitch have been helping with the name bars because they have all of those.
What was the pricing between the name bar and the non?
Oh, you're gonna love this. The big players like trying to remember Zetterlund, some of the prospects like Graf, they did Smith. They had 1 Smith jersey. Eklund, they had 1. All those were like 300.
Wow.
Which, yeah, I thought that was pricey. I missed out on the Bordelot, and that was priced at the other price point, which was 125 with name bars. So most of the players were 125. Your Vlasics, your just your run of the Benning, who some of the goalies. The ones without name bars were all 50.
Wow.
So that turned out to be a really good deal to get the players I wanted at 50 and then get the name bars from 2 good friends. So I was really happy with that. So
sorry, Paul, just to go back on that a minute. So Logan and Mitch had purchased name bars previously from sales and had them
at the Shark sidewalk sale a month or 2 ago. They purchased all the name bars, all the Velcro name bars. And
do you remember what they were selling them for at the time? I'm assuming not a lot.
They were like $1 each.
Wow.
So, like, here's one from the set. It's a Mash and Turf because I actually have his jersey back there. Velcro on the back. They were $1 each, but it's as tends to be. The bulk deal worked out, so I'm sure it was hopefully better than $1 each. And I don't, in all fairness, I don't know if they were charging more for like the better players on the name bars, the higher, the Marlows, the Hurdles, whatever.
Sure.
'Cause I never made it over there before the name bars got put away. I was worried with jerseys and gloves, that sale. So yeah, so Mitch and Logan had these, and it's worked out great for reuniting jerseys with it. Trying to remember who was. Oh, I got a TJ Hughes in there. Could not find the Holtz and Paulson, who's also another Michigan kid. So I got all the Michigan kids except for Boards, but we got which is okay. You're not going to get everything, as we know. So the sale goes on, and that rack's stuff's disappearing. Nothing's selling from the other three racks. People, I don't know if they're discounted, but people look at the sweatshirts, and the price tag on them says 75 with no signage if they're discounted or anything. So, I mean, they throughout the whole day they might have sold a handful at best from those three racks, and it's the same thing over and over again on the racks. So rather than having multiple racks of the training camp jerseys out, which would have made a lot of sense at the beginning, and consolidating all that crap that no one's buying into one rack, they decide throughout the day to keep bringing out more jerseys.
Oh, for crap's sake.
Yeah.
And how long was this sale? What was the time frame start to finish?
Season ticket holders got until 10. It went till 4. I left about 2. Yeah, I left a little bit after 2 because they were doing a raffle each hour, and they were done bringing out new jerseys. And we actually had people hanging out there just in case we were misled, which we were not. But
still, they were bringing them out for 4 hours.
Well, they bring out the excuse was they didn't have enough hangers. I'm not making this
things
up.
Called tables. Put them on the flipping table.
Oh, well, first off, this sale was outside. They put up a couple of pop-up tents and then a green barrier or whatever tied into it. So you had to go through the line and then out to get in. So they had limited space on where they did this outside. Yes, they could have made it bigger. And yeah, tables would have worked. Put the apparel on it. Even getting rid of a lot of the apparel and leaving 5 of each item out there instead of 50 would have given you a lot more space. So every 45 minutes, an hour, they'd bring up another 20, 30 jerseys. And of course, we would all grab them. Everything would be taken off the rack. People would trade stuff and then put stuff back. It is, I've always complained about waiting in line for jerseys or a lot of how jerseys are distributed. This might have been the worst way I've seen. And that's saying a lot, and then on the other end, I'll give a lot of credit to MyGreat. Pre-order a jersey. Great. You're getting it, and not everything sells out on pre-order, and you can cancel it, but blah, blah, blah. So during one of the runs from TexAU over to the store, they brought out maybe 15 or 20 Barracuda jerseys. So you might have noticed I have not said anything about Barracuda game worn stuff.
It all seems to be Sharks training camp related.
Sharks training camp, worn for the last 7 years. And a lot of them are Cuda players and all that. So one of the runs, they come out, 15 Barracuda jerseys. These were all Barracuda jerseys that were originally offered at the San Jose Sharks /Cuda equipment sale, and then also available at the rookie scrimmage or whatever, prospect scrimmage that we had on July 4th, inside TexAU. I think so all these have been picked over before. There's still a few, decent jerseys in there. Some of the black jerseys, one of the steel, and I don't think that one sold. So I'm not certain it was worn. And that was it for Barracuda game worn stuff. And we were kind of expecting more Barracuda game worn stuff. The last thing, I was actually not expecting the training camp jerseys. After these things take time, but the fact that they only got them 2-3 days before that at most, what were they planning on having there? It's so to me, it was a disappointment. It was great seeing everyone. It was great going up to Stanley's for a burger and beer, and it's really, like I said, the best part seeing everyone there. Everyone was able to come home with something they cared about, which was kind of cool. I got my Michigan kids. Everyone else got sure. Not everything that they were looking for, but some of it. Now, the other thing, they didn't have the big name draft picks from this year. On these training camp jerseys, they have 3 colors: black, which is worn in practice on occasion, teal and white. And they're also worn in practice, the teal and white. But there is the scrimmage, prospect scrimmage, and this year was July 4th. The draft picks from this year, they pulled the teal and white jerseys from that. And right now on Sharks Pro Shop, they're auctioning off 5 of them from the draft picks from 2024. The interesting thing is the jerseys that they're auctioning. Like, let's take example, they have Dickinson, who's number 4. They're auctioning off his white jersey. Well, in the prospect game, he wore teal. Every jersey Roberts is white here. He wore teal in the game. So every jersey that's being offered here is the opposite of what they wore in the prospect scrimmage, which, and to me, I personally think it's a little bit misleading. If I read the description for Roberts, if it ever loads here, 2024 prospect scrimmage jersey. Player Colton Roberts, color white, size 58, removable name tag. That's number 68. And right now the minimum bid on these are 200, and most of them are floating between 200 and 225. And and there is not a Celebrini there. And I think they pulled the teal and white Smiths, and those are not in there either. They'll be at a future auction. So I've on my Opert site, on my San Jose Sharks archive, I actually put up the rosters from the prospect scrimmage with which color they're wearing, and then also analysis of which jerseys were worn which year by who. I think it's a little bit deceitful how they're auctioning these off. I hope that the people who are bidding on them actually look into it. I know our close group of Sharks collectors have discussed this already. I think that's it. I'm sorry I'm so negative about this. It's like
it sounds like it was run very weird. They could have been out much better.
Unfortunately, I think that's part of here. I think we all do a very good job on here of always giving fair critiques of things, and I think for the most part we try to compliment the teams and the auction houses and anybody else who does something good. But let's be honest, when somebody does something bad, they deserve, we deserve the ability to say that. And if this was poorly ran, it's poorly ran. It just is what it is. You're not doing anybody a disservice by being honest. You're just being honest. And that's, that is what it is. I think the one we are going to start seeing these name-plated practice jerseys pop up. The Blues just had theirs.
Yeah, I was going to first give you a shout out, Wade, because you and I talked on our own when they posted them. I'm like, they're not going to go that crazy. They went somewhat higher for some of them than I expected. Yeah. They were
I pulled it up. I pulled the auction up, and $450 for Bennington, and that was probably $450 for Walker. I mean, the $175 for those guys I think is pretty right. But $325 for Thomas, Shen, Kyrou $300. I think at the end of the day, I think this
$530.
Yeah, I think this was the first opportunity people have had to get those. I mean, I know in speaking to a couple other collectors, like we've all been asking for them for years. So I think all the teams are finally kind of what Paul said. These were all worn for multiple years and probably recycled, and nameplates taken off and put back on and what have you. But for a lot of collectors, it's a hole in the collection. Somebody called me after the Blues auction, and I did not win one. I actually, to be honest with you, forgot that they were closing and then jumped into it right after. I admittedly had bid on the Bennington and did not win it, but at $450, that was more than I would have spent for a training camp jersey. But as I said, they released such a limited number of them in that auction. The safe assumption is they're either going to have more auctions or we're going to end up finding a rack of them at one of those first couple games.
Yeah.
So the chances of me getting one for less than $300 or $150 or $175 are pretty good. And as long as I have one, it doesn't have to be, it could be a player I like. It doesn't have to be a premier player.
Sure.
And I also think that at some point those will pop up for cheaper than what they just sold for.
And you have to remember, these were worn, even the Blues ones were probably worn for 7 years. And there's probably a complete set from number 1 to 98. So
yeah, for sure.
You're going to have a lot of chances to get them. I will say the Red Wings they do this differently. Their preseason jerseys are recycled. I think the last one's been 6-7 years. And the practice jerseys are typically recycled. And I have an example. You can guess who.
Hey!
Yes, that's from a preseason.
Doesn't hardly fit in the camera.
Yes, and it actually he has the exhibition preseason jersey, the white one I got from him, has a different player on it now. But they save the name bars when they can, and it with the Red Wings that comes along with it. Same thing with the practice jerseys, but they tend not to. It seems like they reissue those more frequently than they do the preseason jerseys. But they're
I think
also
we're
not
going to
supposed
pop up. Yeah, the training camp ones I think are going to start popping up for a lot of teams this season, because at the end of the day, those equipment guys probably just want to get those the hell out of there and get some space, and they obviously have new stuff, So,
and here in a few minutes, we'll get into the new practice jersey discussion. But wanted to touch on a few other things going on around the area of the hobby. Classic auctions, they have their auction going on right now. A little mix of everything. There's a lot of different things out there. You've got some pretty old stuff. Just doing a quick scan, you've got some different Lindros game jerseys from different years. These all close on the 18, basically right at 19 days from this recording. I'm keeping an eye on a couple. There's Blues, and then there's also a guy that used to played 1 year here in Springfield for the Junior Blues. His AHL jersey's out there. If I could pick it up cheap, wouldn't mind doing that. But
don't bid on it, folks. Let Doc have it.
I won't give the name. I mean, not like it's a big deal, but there is a Brian Sutter out there. Problem is with that, and again, but it's the year and the type of those jerseys is the numbers are peeling really bad. Unfortunately, it's still a very beautiful jersey, but those back numbers are pretty rough.
We had that discussion recently with some people, and unfortunately, those heat press numbers. I mean, if you look at jerseys from that same era outside of the heat press ones, I mean, it's a kiss of death for the value on those. Unfortunately, they just don't trade for the same amount because they're kind of gross.
Yeah.
If you had that same Sutter jersey and it's 2 years later, or it's the Rawlings that's all stitched on, or a different style, I mean, it's considerably more valuable just because the condition sensitivity of those do affect the value of them.
Yeah. Some of the other things in here, you got a 13-14 Sidney Crosby Stanley Cup playoffs captain's jersey, currently at $13,900. Matt Sundin, Doug Gilmore. You've got some Whalers, Darian Hatcher, Stars with a 75th patch 91-92. It's a beautiful looking jersey. Trying to see some of the other ones in here.
You're missing the prize of this auction, the 64-65 Gordie Howe jersey.
Oh yes. Sorry, I was in more of the modern, but yeah.
That's 61 grand.
Before
Gordy's at 61 right now.
And 18 days to go. That's
100. That's well into the hundreds.
Yeah, so, you've got
awesome.
There's a lot of beautiful stuff in this auction. Classic, it definitely is doing well.
Yeah. One of my favorite all-time jersey is the 94, the Tour 99 jerseys from the lockout. And they've got a Gretzky one in there. And that's one of my all-time favorite jerseys. So I'll be interested to see where that goes. I will not be a bidder, but it is gorgeous.
And in my world, there are actually 2 Michigan jerseys in this one.
I was about to say I saw 2 Michigan jerseys, Paul.
Yeah, but both from Larry's collection. One's a Noah Rudin, 02-03, which is a really nice jersey. I know he didn't play many games that year, but it's a great style. And then a 2012-13 Mike Chason jersey and I believe that's the last year of the CCHA ones. There's a little bit of staining on the sleeve of that one. I don't know exactly what that's from. I'm always skeptical when people say it's blood, but they actually note, where is it? Of note, staining appears over the left sleeve that is worth mentioning for accuracy in the description. Yeah. So 2 really nice Michigan jerseys. I hope they get too expensive so Larry does well, and I don't have to bid on them.
I love it.
A couple other things from around auctions is Heritage Auction. We touched on this particular jersey before when it was up for auction. Now it has changed to just a buy it now. It does include the buyer's premium. It's a 13-14 Yager Devils photo match to 13 games with 5 goals and 4 assists under it when he passed Mario Lemieux. It is 24 grand. That is out the door. Like I said, includes buyer's premium. So if you are looking for a Yager with some decent documentation, does have the migrate letter, the whole bit there, that is out on Heritage Auction site. Migrate does have a small auction going on that started just the other day and ends September the 24th. It's a 708 Rangers Traverse City rookie tournament jersey auction. These are all Reebok jerseys in both white and blue. And there isn't a Anisimov in here. I guess I need to look at his stats. See, I remember him being good, but I don't know what his standing in the fan base is now, but they have a white and blue of his. A lot of names I don't recognize. Rangers fans or stuff may know it better than me. But these are from 07, 08. So going back a bit, trying to look at a few pictures, didn't see a lot of wear, but of course, if they only wore them in one Traverse City tournament, I know there's only a handful of games there, but did want to mention that. And then one other interesting stuff I just stumbled across looking for game use stuff that's posted out there is the Real Sports auctions for the now I lost the team. The Toronto Maple Leafs. They have all kinds of interesting things up for sale. Most of them are just buy it nows. They have locker room nameplates from different seasons. They start at $50 and they list who's available. They have some of the 2023 Global Series practice jerseys. It does not have, it's designated that, but in the pictures, there is no Global Series patch or anything on it. So other than it being blue, I don't know how you designate the difference. It just says an LOA is available upon request for those. They have different players' gloves that are, just checking the prices, range between $250 and $300 a pair. What else have we got here? They also have the Heritage Classic blanks with just the big T. Those are available. The buy it now on those, and they're not lettered or numbered, are $375. St. Pat's practice jerseys, they have those out here. They're $395. If you live in the area, Paul or Wade or you or myself would have a difficult time with these, but they have Scotiabank boards for sale.
Oh my.
They have some different sections. One of these sections, it's 90 inches long, 8 inches wide, and 42 inches high, sells for $750. They have another section of board that is from the blue line. So you've got the blue line going up the center of the piece. I believe that was $1,000. So if there are Leafs fans in the area that want that, it is all listed out there for sale. They're not an auction, just buy it now. There's also some game issued Hall of Fame 2023 Hockey Hall of Fame game issued sweaters out here. Have the Hall of Fame patch up on the shoulder, have the Milk sponsor patch on the front. Currently actually only one available at $599. So that's Klinberg's at $600. So just some interesting things that stumbled across out there. And yes, the same size, 96 by 8 by 42 for the section of boards, which has the blue line logo, even says from section 108. So you see the blue line come up the boards and stuff. And it's cool because the advertising and stuff is still on it. It's really, really neat to see, but even has the door attachment next to it, which is really cool. So if you're into that and have the space and have some money to spend, those are available out there. So I just kind of stumbled across that tonight. Figured I'd mention it to any Leafs collectors, because it's something different. I know some players or some people like to get boards. I know the Blues have sold them in the past. Some other teams have as well. The Wings have. So hey, maybe a shot.
Would be great to have them and the room for them too. But
yes.
So I'm looking at a different Real Sports auction page. It's still buy it now stuff. They have Toronto Marlies player worn New Balance 100 locker room slides. $30 a pair
for those.
$30 a pair, Canadian. So,
Doc's all over that.
So $9.95.
Doc, yeah.
That's a Doc buy if I've ever heard of one.
I actually looking around and I've seen some of the other stuff they have out there. They actually, and I pulled up their page now. They have the toiletry bags, the JRZ ones, which are nice, but $75 a piece. God's sakes, training camp jerseys from there, $400 for the black, white.
You're on the same list I am.
I'm sorry, say it again.
You're on the same list I am.
Yeah, just like holy crap. Dylan Ferguson. I mean, they're nice looking jerseys, but the compression stuff's kind of nice.
Team issue Toronto Marlies locker room clock, 12-inch clock, with the maple leaf in the middle and the crown in front, $70 each.
I like what's right next to it. The Toronto Marlies team used locker room garbage cans.
Yes.
The big Rubbermaid ones has a big logo on it. They're $150.
And then the 15-inch ones are only $50, and those are much cooler.
Yeah, those look like I can't tell if they're plastic or metal. It almost looks like they're metal, looking at the inside now. I wonder if those sat like around the players' locker stalls. Maybe.
Those are pretty cool. Yeah.
Some interesting stuff. So if you're either a Marlies or a Leafs fan, they do have some player-worn hoodies. Kind of cool looking design too for $125. Some player-worn shoes in different sizes. Yeah, and the slides. I hate slides. I refuse to wear them. With all part of me, I refuse to wear those. The other big thing that has come out last few days from pictures from teams getting ready, things like that, are the practice jerseys. Early on, we talked, Aesthetics had put out a great video talking what inside information they had about all the Fanatics related stuff, and had said that the logos would be sewn on the front, would say property of the team. Let me share the screen so you guys can see the pictures. We have stuff from both the Canadians and from the Blues here. And that's a pretty good shot. Are you guys both able to see that okay?
Yeah.
Pretty good shot of the red and the white Canadians. The weird thing, and Paul, I'll let you tell the audience as we describe them first and what your thought is on the red ones, the shoulder caps are black, and on the white ones, the shoulder caps are red. I don't mind them, the red on the white, but the black on the red, I don't know. But what was your words you sent to me earlier today?
Can't remember the exact wording, but it's something. I don't like this style. I mean, it's. I don't like the look, but to me it appeared to be like take your child to work day, and they let some like 5-year-old design the jerseys, and then no one proofed them or anything, and I don't know why you do that on the shoulder. It's just to me it looks like they're torn, and whatever's underneath is showing. But sorry, now you'll see them that way for always. Sorry, Wade.
And then there's it's like now this one's interesting and maybe it's different for different teams, but I've got the Blues ones up here now, which gives a nice head-on shot, shows the property of St. Louis, and then has the blue note in the middle. I do think that's kind of sharp because that's a little bit of a throwback to the old
CCMs.
Thank you. With that, because the line, you've got a kind of line in the middle of there. You do see their sponsor patch, and then also the Fanatics flag is on the front of the jersey as well. But these, and maybe they're black and they're just not showing up in the picture, but I don't see those shoulder caps.
I think that's a Navy jersey. it's hard to see in your picture, but I think that's a black cap in the shoulder, man. I really
and maybe
do.
it is. It's just off enough. And then here's the Montreal red with the black shoulder caps, and again a nice front.
I think that Blues one, the Bucci, is probably, it looks like it's navy with a black shoulder cap.
And I'm trying to zoom in.
Yeah. I love the style of the crest. It reminds me of the center ice CCMs from back in the day. So, I mean, in that sense, I think that's a home run. And like Paul said, the shoulders just don't make any sense.
And I'm agreeing with Wade here. The logo, the crest looks great. I really like that. I like that throwback.
It's hard to tell in the picture. And again, the quality of the picture is part of it. And if anybody has been to any of your teams that are practicing wearing these, confirm with us that these are sewn on. Like I said, that was stuff that came from Aesthetics. They've been on top of all this, and I do trust their reporting, but we have not seen any of these in person and would love to see one. And then there's a little bit more of the side shot of a Blues white with the either black or I'm going to assume that's navy for that. Again, hard to tell. Let me zoom in on this one because that's a little bit clearer.
I think that's black.
Yeah, and then looking at the logo again, I just can't tell and maybe again it's just not clear enough. I can't tell if that's sewn on or not. From what I can see, it looks like the property of is the circle part is not, but the crest itself looks like it is. Yeah.
Oh, so it's sublimated on the circle.
Round. That's what it looks like. From because I zoomed in on the pictures earlier after we talked about it. That's what it looks like to me. It looks like that is printed on, and then they stitch the crest in the middle.
I'll try and do some looking online too for the Fanatics ones that are out there to buy now. I think because there's practice ones too, because I believe they're being done the same way. I'm not 100% for that, but wait, I'll just kind of do a quick. I know we kind of all talk together, but a little individually of thoughts on these. Wade, I'll start with you.
I mean, again, I think everybody got so used to the Adidas for so long, and I think here this is the one thing that I'm taking away from these jerseys. The game jerseys, Fanatics was not really in a position to do much changes to. I think this is our first look at Fanatics touches to something fresh. And if that shoulder cap is any sign of the future, I'm terrified.
And maybe before we go to you, Paul, on this, maybe the way that's cut kind of makes the arm sit better, things like that. Because why else would you? Or again, maybe it's an aesthetics thing, but why else would you do it? But again, maybe
on the red one, you're on the red picture of the Canadians one again. I mean, like on the white jersey, the red doesn't look as bad. On the red one, if that shoulder cap area was white and it matched the front crest, it might look actually a little better. That's my first take. Because if you look on the white jersey, the red matches the center logo, and so it doesn't look. It looks stupid and it looks weird, probably because we're not used to it. But it looks better than the black, which doesn't match the jersey at all. Whereas on that red jersey, if that was white and it matched the white on the center crest area, it might look a little bit better. And I'm not trying to bash Fanatics here at all, because I've been a big proponent of saying, hey, let's give them the benefit of the doubt. But if this is kind of what they're gonna do, it's scary, right? I mean, am I wrong for saying that?
I don't think so. And you can look down the arms too and see if there's the way that fabric's cut. It reminds me of, I don't remember what year it was, where you had on the player jerseys had kind of that line all the way down the arm and they were colored. Maybe they should have done that. But you can see on both the white ones, there's kind of that sew going all the way down, or maybe it's just a fold in the jersey, but two jerseys.
Yeah, those were the Reebok Edge jerseys had that.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Paul.
So Wade kind of nailed it on it. The shoulder patches, if they are for a different type of fit, why not just do them the same color? And have the patch when you're showing a white jersey, just have it white there if it's to fit different, adjust the fit. to me, it's like they took away the dimples, which weren't on practice jerseys, but we're extrapolating this if they do with the game jersey. They took away the dimples, which everyone loved at first and still like, and replaced them with this silly shoulder thing. It's, on practice jerseys, I don't care. It's you don't see them in game use, you see them on practice. I don't know what their logic was for doing it. I'd love to have Fanatics or someone from one of the factories explain why they went this route. But I really hope we don't start seeing these on the game jerseys when they start getting some leeway on what they can do. Everyone got the dimples from Adidas, whether we wanted them or not. And I really hope they're not going to force this on us, because I don't remember anyone's opinions of the dimples at first like we're having on this.
And looking at the Blues white jersey here, is you can see how that's sewn all up the side, and it must travel the whole thing of the jersey. I don't think I have, because I just cleaned up my recording area. I think I took all my practice ones outside, the Adidas ones. I want to see if that was sewn the same way.
I can grab one in about 2 seconds.
I don't have one in here. I was cleaning stuff up and moving gear around. But they may have been cut the same way and we didn't notice it. But I mean, this material, at least the white, looks much more opaque.
Yeah.
Because you can see the elbow pads and stuff underneath it. And again, Paul, like you said, it's a practice jersey. It's not a game jersey. And I know they want to make practice jerseys lighter, and which is fine, but I'm curious how really thin that is.
Yeah, we'll find out. Yeah. So we have.
Here's an Adidas Blues, and it is dimpled.
That's right. Yeah.
But there's no
stitching like the line like we're seeing on the white Blues.
No, I mean, there's a seam on the top, obviously, like that goes down, but it's not down the front of it like that. And that might be the angle of it, but it's hard to see because I got my screen. But there is, a line that goes down there, but it's reinforced.
Yeah, because you do have to stitch the fabric in. But
yeah,
let me go back to the photos again. You can see, because even the elbows look different. Could you see my little hand for my mouse thing there? Is right in there the way it's cut and sewn. It looks like that design may be different. And again, these are only from pictures.
One thing that Fanatics did say, and the one thing that we had heard, was that they were redesigning and double reinforcing the elbows on the game jerseys.
Which this could be a carryover. I'm actually assuming it is, because why would you sew two different types of jerseys two different ways? But
yeah,
you can see kind of that it's a straight. I'm assuming straight across there, a heavy patch. Let me see if I can if the Montreal white, if we can see that at all. And again, let's say these pictures are online. So, but like looking at this, either one of these Canadians ones, is you see this line down the whole arm.
It's not in the center it's not down the center. It's down the front.
Yeah. That's a little bit different. Interesting cut. And maybe they did it because of something else. I don't know.
Maybe they did it to incorporate that shoulder. It looks like they did it to incorporate the shoulder.
Yeah.
The shoulder tier.
Yeah, because the sew job is not passing through that.
Yeah.
God, I've got to get my hands on one of these now.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. I mean, it's interesting. But even looking at that picture, if you look from the way those guys are leaned over, it looks like where it says, property of Montreal in French, it doesn't move, whereas the crest looks like it's a little firmer on the jerseys. You can see the movement a little bit more on the outside. So my guess is that's pressed, and then the crest is stitched.
Yeah. I'll do some more reading online for that, but I mean, I like to get practice jerseys to skate it and stuff, or it's a cheap way if you're trying to have something to wear that a player's worn. They're definitely cheaper than a lot of game jerseys, depending on the team you're looking at.
Yeah.
But I mean, overall, not bad. The shoulder caps, interesting. I'd be curious to see too what the NHL logo looks like. If it's more hologram, if it's a much flatter, lighter. I'm
still giving them the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah. So I'm hoping some either contacts or we can pull some strings and get one of these in front of us, even at a game or something else, just to be to get some better visuals on it, because we see it and get our hands on it, things will be much easier. But at least wanted to touch on that. Those are the two teams I was able to dig up quickly over the last day or so that I've seen that posted pictures of players in that new stuff. If other fans have either gone to open practices or whatever, and of course we will see them, should see them anyway, on all the teams here in the coming weeks for training camp and that, I would believe. So a lot of us, I know I'm planning on going to St. Louis. I know, Wade, you are as well. Paul, you'll be out in San Jose. And others of you who follow the show, if you go somewhere, either get your hands on touching one or get some close-up shots, feel free to send them our way. We'll give you complete credit for those pictures and any info. But
Absolutely.
I mean, the clock's ticking every day closer to seeing the gamers in person. I know Utah had some pictures up of their game jerseys, but it's hard. And some of the players are doing, the rookies, I think, are doing some media stuff in that, but it's hard to see in those press photos. Are they wearing the Made in Canada ones? Or I'm assuming they're wearing the actual game ones, especially with Fanatics doing that level of authentic ones now too.
The Utah ones looked really good from what I could see.
So that's, I mean, it's exciting, and the excitement's building for all this stuff because there's so much new thing between Utah, between the jerseys and all that. I think it's going to be I know it'll be a fun season for us to cover all this stuff and talk to other people and get opinions, but for fans as well. Before we wrap this up, Wade, I know you wanted to touch on something, say kind of a reminder to the hobby.
Yeah, I think all of us, are obviously mourning, the Goudreau family loss, and I mean, what a tragic set of events, and I think it's a great reminder to all of us that there's a whole lot of better ways to transport yourself than to drink and drive. Because not only can it affect your life, but it can affect the lives of so many other people. So, I think all of us, I think anybody who's a sports fan mourns it, but then when you've got two young men who are, fathers and husbands and, great people, it hits home a little bit. And, we've talked about it in the past with the collecting thing. And I guess it's just one of those things where, we all collect with emotion, but just for people to, remember that, there's good times and bad times to buy and sell stuff. And when somebody passes, it's a really, really hard time to try to acquire something. And it's also kind of a terrible time to try to sell something. Not to touch on that too much, but I just think that, we were talking about some stuff, and I know in the autograph communities that I'm involved in, there are some rules and groups about people not selling stuff or not making things available to be sold when somebody passes. And also, if you're a collector, just being careful about buying something when that happens, because you're buying with emotion, and a lot of times that can lead to bad decisions. So really, to me, comes back to just beyond the hobby. We talk about that all the time, about the friendships and the connections and what have you. But in this case, I think it just hits home with the, think before you do something terrible that can affect your life and harm so many other people's.
Yeah. And I mean, it shook the whole community. I don't care if you liked him as a player or didn't follow him anywhere. I mean, you unfortunately united for both him and the loss of his brother, united everybody together. And that's not how we want to unite fans. And that is tragedies. Like,
I just feel like it was something important to say,
No, and you are 100% spot on with it. And like you mentioned, we talked before the show was on, in some of these card groups and that they have a couple week cooling down period for people selling it or that. And hey, as we've all talked
about, everybody.
Yeah.
It protects people.
But if you want to move it at that point, hey, that's your prerogative. You own it. Do what you want. We've seen that with other players who passed away is people wanting to get their stuff because there will be no more. So, and I get that it's not a morbid thing, or it's not a, it's, I don't call it a negative thing. Some people may do that, but you know that they'll never, that's it. There'll be no more,
Yeah.
no more jerseys, no more gloves, no more helmets. And it's sad, but I know people who have picked that up and that is never leaving their collection because that player had a meaning to them in some way or the other.
It's just a tough time to buy and sell when you're going through
Yes.
that. And unfortunately, I just beyond the collecting stuff, I just want people to be cautious and careful about how they handle that, because it seems like, unfortunately, when somebody does pass, things sell for a premium, and then you can get yourself in a trick bag with that. So I don't know. Just thought as we all thought, we should just kind of throw it out there, just to be cautious and careful, and to bid with your head and your heart.
Yes. Paul, any thoughts from you before we get out of here?
No, I think we already covered everything. So I will defer to you, Doc.
Wade, any other final thought? But again, great topic and definitely a good discussion to have.
Yeah, no, I mean, we're inching closer to hockey season. I know in the main group, I love the daily jersey number countdown and people posting their jerseys. To me, I love that. I've been trying to jump in a couple times here and there. I've missed a couple I really wanted to put up, but honestly, just fun to see the excitement start to kind of grow into a new season, especially a new season with a lot of changes. So, going to be pretty cool. Excited to see some new numbers on some new players and new equipment, and ready for hockey. Let's go.
Oh, for sure. We are not long now. And yeah, and I've been trying to contribute with those posts too as well. But it's funny, you go through and like, crap, I don't have a number anywhere close to this.
Yeah.
But it does. It makes it fun because sometimes people will post stuff and you're like, wow, I forgot that guy wore that number, or I've not seen that player, or a name you don't recognize. It gets people to see other things that they may or may not normally see if they don't go look at if that person has their jerseys posted somewhere. So it is a fun way to share, and we appreciate the guys that are doing those posts. I know Johnny's running some of them, and I think I've seen a couple other people post on that as well. So thanks, guys, for doing that, just to make the hobby little fun things to like you said, Wade, is keep that excitement up. Again, we've had a lot of comments on the shows, either by messages when people have listened to them, or comments on YouTube, on things like that. Please continue to share those. However, I keep seeing subscribers go up on the YouTube page every week after a show comes out. So thank you. Tell your friends if you even know a kind of collector or somebody new wanting to get into the hobby, send them this links to this show, because I think that, again, not to brag, but I think stuff like this, because I've had other people tell me that listening to these shows has helped them understand things or get concepts, or just to get a better understanding. You can ask people, but seeing multiple people just ramble for an hour on a video or on a podcast audio wise, you can pick up a lot. But again, as always, we appreciate the support. If you would love to come on, please reach out. We're trying to and get some of those scheduled. I'm trying to get some other some actual team people scheduled around, and some other things too. So there hopefully good things on the horizon.
I've got one thing to add, and you'll be joining the Migrate podcast and representing our little show. And I just wanted to make sure that I said how well deserved that is, Doc, because you do such a great job of representing our hobby and our little group, and you are such a great contributor that it's well deserved to see you go on that show. And I can't wait to hear it.
Very excited. I appreciate that. But it's, again, just like I said before, when I messaged you guys, let them know it was happening, and before we started recording, it's a team effort. I have the tech stuff in front of me and the radio background, but it just wouldn't be any fun if it was by myself. It'd just be me rambling and pulling people in occasionally, but it's the team effort that makes this fun, and the differing opinions and the different looks that we have at things. But yeah, I'm joining them. I know we're recording on Monday. It is Tales from the Warehouse, My Gray's podcast. It is a fantastic podcast if you've not listened to them. I know they've been doing a lot of collector interviews, but also just the internal stuff, his interviews with Barry, interviews with Stu. God, the one I listened to, one of the early episodes with Barry, is talking about how they found all those Rangers Stanley Cup jerseys in a trunk. And just things like that, stories that may not have, that haven't really hit the mainstream per se. But go to listen to those. They're not a competitor. They are another cool part of this hobby. A big happy family of what I feel are great hobby podcasts. So no, they do a terrific job, and I appreciate what they do, and was honored to be reached out to. I don't know when they normally publish theirs, but we will make sure we plug it on our page once it's up and out there. But no, thank you for that, and definitely looking forward to it. And like I said, it's not just me. I just have the tools, but it's a group effort. It's not just us and Justin. It's all the guests we've have on, and it's the listeners who give the comments or give the suggestions. It is a big team effort. So looking forward to it and can't wait to share it with everybody. But on that note, please go like, subscribe, all that stuff for podcasts to help us out. I just want to see every week at least continue to see the listens grow and the follows on wherever you listen to stuff continue to grow, because it shows we're doing well. And like I said, if there's things you don't like, if there's critiques, send them. We're not going to get upset. We're not going to drop the gloves, that kind of stuff at you. We want to continue to make this better. So again, thank you. Hope everybody has a fantastic weekend, or whenever you listen to this stuff. We are very close to hockey season, and this podcast is only going to get more fun as we get closer and into the season. Gentlemen, with that, I'll see you back next week.